Hi, and welcome to What Makes the Academy Exceptional. Whether you're a curious student looking for something more or a parent exploring options for your teen, you're definitely in the right place. My name is Dr. Joe Tuitt, and I direct the Office of Admissions here at the Indiana Academy for Science, Mathematics, and Humanities. Today, we're going to dive into what is student life really like at the Academy. Joining us today are Mr. Bridger Fetters, our Associate Director for Residential and Student Affairs, as well as three of our amazing Academy students. Mr. Fetters.
I'm Bridger Fetters. I'm the Associate Director of Residential and Student Affairs at the Indiana Academy. I've been in this role for about 7 years, where I supervise the residence life staff and work with things around the building, but also activities and just general student life. From 2013 to 2015, I was one of the student life counselors living in the building, working directly with the students. When I think about student life at the Indiana Academy, there's a lot of really beneficial things for the students who come here. But a couple of key things are this is a true college prep experience. Students get the chance to live a college schedule, be on a college campus, all with more help and support that they'll have, but they get a 2-year head start to hit the ground running when they get to college. The other most important thing about what we do is just trying to build a community. So whether it comes to our staff on the floor, the activities we plan, the events we hold, or just the way we go about doing our business from day to day, we're trying to bring our students together and create a unique environment for them that they'll benefit from while they're here. There's a lot of different opportunities for students to get connected with each other. One of the unique things about the Academy is that all of our students are getting a chance to kind of start fresh and start over again. So right there's the groundwork already of a bunch of people who are looking for those connections at the same time as you. You don't have to feel scared or feel like you're the only one. Everybody who comes here is starting over and looking to build those connections. So we feel like that gets everybody off to a good start. But we do a lot of things to try and foster that environment. Clubs are one of the big things that allows our students to get connected with each other. We start off right away at the beginning of the year with a club fair where all of the different clubs and any students who are starting new clubs get a chance to showcase what they're about and what they want to do. A chance for students to come and visit with each other, sign up for new clubs, learn about the different things that they can participate in while they're here. There's a lot of other ways to connect. Some of it's just through the events we do, from the Welcome Back Dance on opening weekend, all through the variety of special events we have throughout the year, the programming that our SLCs put on. On weekends, every weekend our SLCs will host weekend activities. So they range from big to small, whether it's an all-hall weekend with 20 plus programs, a special event weekend with a dance or a big activity, or just the weekends in between where we'll pick a theme every weekend, whether it's Disney weekend, mental health weekend, or sometimes even off-the-wall weekends like Jackie Chan weekend. There's always something going on and a variety of activities and movies and games and things around campus themed for students to participate in. Yeah, every year we get to watch students show up to the Academy not knowing exactly how they're going to fit in or what they're going to participate in, but there's a lot of times where you can just kind of watch it click, whether it's the first weekend or a semester into it. Students find the team they're going to be on or the club that they want to start, and they realize other people are interested in the same thing that they are, or that class and that teacher who really connects with something they're interested in. But kids who come to the Academy see them often come out of their shell, make new friends, get out there and do really cool things while they're here. I'd say one of the coolest things about clubs at the Indiana Academy is that they're student initiated and student led and student conceived. We don't have any clubs actually that we ensure that they happen. Now there's a lot of clubs that still happen every year, but every year half the clubs we have are new and unique to the students that we bring in. The process to start a club at the Indiana Academy is not too complicated. You can pick up a form at the front desk. Starting on the first day you're on campus, you can do this. There's a few things you have to have in mind. You have to know what you want your club to be about, and then you have to find a staff sponsor. Often one of our student life counselors or one of our faculty members can serve in that role, and they're there to help you reserve a space to have your meeting or make arrangements for an event that you want to do. But you get that form, you get a sponsor signed on, you write out a brief description of the plan, and then you submit that for approval, and once it's approved, you are ready to start having your club meetings. I think the big variety of clubs and frankly of interests at the Academy just opens the door for students to try new things. And regardless of where you come from, there are going to be clubs at the Academy and students at the Academy who have new interests that you haven't experienced before. And you can jump right in and try them all, frankly. So I think students find their belonging here in a lot of different ways. Some of it's academics for a lot of kids looking for a new challenge. But a lot of times it can come from being a part of Model UN or joining a student union or finding that niche special interest club that you felt alone at your old school, and you find a group of people here who are into the same thing as you. There's a student I think of 5 or 10 years ago who would talk a lot about how he had been transformed at the Academy. And it was a student whose parents had done almost everything for him prior to the time he got here. He had been at a big high school, kind of felt lost in the shuffle there. Parents took care of a lot of his responsibilities for him. And then all of a sudden he's here at the Academy, smaller classes, and having to take care of all his own daily needs like laundry, waking himself up, doing his homework and all those things, and really struggled out of the gate. And then that student eventually became one of our ambassadors and was standing up in front of families talking about his experience. And it was through athletics and it was through academic clubs. And actually by getting busier here and putting more on his plate, he started to organize his life, write down his schedule, plan out times to study. He went to some of our programs about how to get himself around campus, do his laundry, organize his life, where student life counselors shared some of their experiences, and really grew and became a leader on campus just by leaning in, participating, joining things, realizing he could take on and handle a lot more than what he had before. I think it's a common refrain for students who come through here that those who haven't had leadership opportunities in the past all of a sudden find those here. And it's fun every year to watch our peer assistants and our ambassadors and other students kind of grow up in front of our eyes and become ready for what comes next in a way that a lot of high school students aren't. Well, I think one of the biggest things is first SLCs have to just build connection with students. There's always going to be adults telling students to get out there and do more and take advantage of their opportunities, and students, some are receptive to that, some aren't. So what we hope happens with the SLCs and what we try and encourage them to do is to just get to know students, build connection with them, build relationship with them, and be there for them. Our SLCs all have an apartment right there in the building that they try and personalize and make comfortable, so students will stop by, talk to them, get to know them. Our SLCs also make an effort to get to know parents because we're going to have our perspective and learn what we learn from the student, but parents know the students best and can provide a lot of insight. So then when we do have those moments where a student's struggling to engage or spending all their time in their room, we hope we have enough of a connection with that student that we can come alongside, invite them to a program that we're doing, connect them with a peer assistant who shares some interest with them, recommend some clubs that they could go to, or even just invite them down to an SLC's apartment where other students are hanging out so they have a comfortable space that they've already been in where they can just connect with some other people in a non-threatening way. Yeah, from a legal perspective, there's a common law term in loco parentis, which means in the place of the parent, that has a long tradition in a lot of places where parents aren't present for a student, and it just means that the person serves in the role of taking care of all that student's needs, making decisions that need to be made, and in a lot of ways, for a good chunk of the week, that's the role that the SLCs play. In the evenings and on the weekends, they are the people who are here, so whether it's a medical need, a mental health need, grade or a daily struggle or the washing machine ate my quarters or I can't figure out where I'm supposed to eat on Saturday. It doesn't really matter what comes up. The SLCs are going to be there to support you. Our goal is to set students up for success, and that means a different thing every 10 minutes and every student you come across. And so the job of the SLC is to be there, be available in the tough moments, to celebrate the good moments, and to just help you through your day in all the ways that you need. Another big part of what the SLCs do is just making sure that everybody's safe and where they're supposed to be. Our students sign in and out of the building. Our SLCs hold them accountable for that and make sure everybody is filling those things out correctly and where they're supposed to be. We have face checks every day of the week. We have card checks where we check those. We have multiple different curfews each night, whether it's when you're supposed to be back to the building or back in your room or quiet for the night. But the SLCs are on duty on evenings and weekends, present with the students, making sure everybody's safe and accounted for, but also just spending time and living life alongside them for big chunks of the day. I think the SLC is there to support the student as they do some of these things themselves. A lot of students are going to be experiencing a new level of independence at the academy, and they're not always going to be ready for that. Some are more ready than others, but the SLC is there when something goes wrong to debrief with you, to brainstorm ways it could go better. The SLC is there when things aren't going right with your roommate to talk about how to have a tough conversation if you've never had one before, or talk about what you could do differently the next time. The SLCs work with the peer assistants and work with all the students around the floor and learn about each of them. And so when it comes to building connections, for some students that'll come naturally. For others, they don't know where to start, and the SLC can be a great place to go for someone who can just help you find the right people to get connected with, or find a new opportunity or a new event that's coming up around the corner. And when things go well, they'll be right there with you, or even left behind you as you engage with new social opportunities. And when things don't go well, they'll be there to commiserate with you and think of the next step. The first thing that comes to mind is just sitting at the talent show every year in the spring. You wouldn't believe some of the oddball things that happen in our talent show and the raucous applause and cheers. A lot of students in their first year are nervous to join the talent show and think whatever thing they're interested in, the poetry they want to read, the dance they want to do, the comedic sketch that they have in mind that they think no one will laugh at but them. And so they just go to the talent show and watch and realize that here a lot of those things go over well. So I think that's one of the moments when a lot of students realize they've found a place that's different. When I started as a student life counselor a long time ago, there was a student who lived in the room next door to me. He was assigned to me as my peer assistant. And he was a student leader and well-liked and a big part of my initial understanding of the academy. And what I came to find out from getting to know him was that he had been unsure about whether he could be successful at the academy, if he was going to be smart enough, likable enough. And he struggled a lot his junior year. But by the time I got there, he had already been elected as a peer assistant. He spent that year ingratiating himself to the staff by volunteering at every event, working hard. He helped a bunch of new students feel secure and find their place. And our staff voted him the senior resident of the year by the end of that year. And like a lot of students who get leadership opportunity here, it was just really cool to watch him grow throughout the time he was here into all of that. Yeah, I mean, our biggest goal with residential life at the Indiana Academy is to build a community that everybody can be a part of, that everybody can feel whole within, and that sets everybody up for success. That looks a lot of different ways. Our staff host programs, they do community service, outreach events, they do events with their custodial groups. So within the floor, they do events for the whole floor, they do events for the whole building. We have special events throughout the year. We have weekend activities, but whether it's a dance or a competition weekend or a themed all-hall weekend or a community service weekend, we're always trying to do events that bring people together. Our non-residential students and our residential students get to participate in all of that, for our non-residential students who are here more during the day, a lot of the community that they build comes with the shared spaces that they get to spend time in. There's a table that they're always doing homework and eating at throughout the afternoon, where you can always find our community of non-residential students spending time together. But even our non-residential students can visit on the floors, spend the night on the weekend, come to all of our activities. The SLCs play a big part in all of that, first and foremost, just by being there, getting to know the kids, facilitating those events, supporting whatever needs to happen, making adjustments, responding to student feedback on the kind of things they'd like to see in the events they'd like us to do throughout the year.
Hi, my name is Finn. I'm a non-residential senior at the Academy. I'm originally from an island in Alaska, but now I've moved to central Indiana.
Hi, I'm Savannah. I'm a residential senior here at the Academy, and I'm from central Indiana.
I'm Keyshawn. I grew up in Northwest Indiana, and I'm a residential senior here at the Academy. And at the Academy, I've been in Bring Change to Mind, Model UN, National Honor Society, Artists for Change, etc. A lot of them, I knew that they were a good fit for me just because at what we have called Club Fair, usually we have like either the board members or like the presidents of each club just standing in front of like a little poster board showing what their club's about. And seeing like a person that's passionate about something, and like usually walking through Club Fair, you can tell who cares about their clubs and who like is kind of just there. And just being able to see who cares about their clubs and who's able to give that passion to and like explain it to somebody really easily, like that's helped me decide what clubs I want to join. And I knew that they were the place for me, usually by like going to the meetings and being around the people, and especially like spending time with people outside of the club activities. Like for Model UN, I knew it was a place for me when I can spend time with people from Model UN outside of Model UN. And things like Black Student Union, I'd like spending time with Black Student Union members outside of Black Student Union made me know that that was a place I wanted to be, and this was a club for me.
I'm involved with the GSA, the Black Student Union, the National Honor Society, Model UN, Bring Change to Mind, and a few others. And those clubs are really just like a really strong community. You can tell that the people in the clubs care about what they're contributing to the clubs. Like I'm in SDA, which is another club that I'm involved with, and the kids in that club, they're really passionate about what the club stands for, and just seeing people put in the effort that you're putting in, it just inspires everyone to kind of come together for the greater good of the community.
I'm in 3 clubs and organizations. I am the president of the Table Tennis Club here at the Academy. I am the president of the inaugural IASG, the student government here, and I'm also a member of National Honor Society. And I think the most important thing for me has been in student government. I applied for the position when our director, Dr. Lufawate, emailed us, and I saw the email and I was like, you know what, why not? And so I've been able to work with 9 other incredible students here at the Academy. I've had a lot of fun. We've been able to make a big impact in our Academy community and outside of it, sending outreach programs to other schools across Indiana. And being able to make a change and make a difference and get feedback from our student body and implement it in ways that we know how has been probably the best thing I've done at the Academy. And in NHS, my chemistry professor, Professor Puchek, advised me to join, and she really inspired me to make the impact that I've made in ISG today. She saw something in me that she knew that I would be able to do that, and that I had a passion and a gift for that, and I'm truly thankful to her for that.
Being surrounded by people who share the same passions as me, it's really inspiring. It pushes me to another level of commitment, because I feel like if I'm the only one in the room that's truly passionate about what we're doing, I'm not going to feel as motivated to put all of my effort in. But if the people around me are just as motivated as I am, it gives me the encouragement that I need to be like really committed without like being shamed of my commitment. And so it's inspiring to see other people care as much as I do.
It's great being around students who really care about their school, and student government is really the embodiment of that. It's giving students the voice and the ability to make real change, and everyone who goes to the school wants to make their school experience better by default, right? So giving students that power and that ability is really encouraging to me, because I see a lot of leadership from students who are graduating and in their senior years and they're on their way out and they still want to make change. And we also have representatives from junior and sophomore classes who are newer to the school but are noticing things that seniors like me may not notice, because it's been two years since I've been at that point, which is, I'm old, but it's great to see students coming together and bettering the school.
I think students that are passionate about the same things that I'm passionate about has kind of driven me to push further and like learn more about the things that I care about, especially when it comes to clubs like National Honor Society or the Student Ambassador, which isn't a club, but it's club adjacent, and then like Black Student Union specifically. Like, it's giving me a place and it's giving me a opportunity to push for like further into my goals about these specific things. For example, for Black Student Union, like this school year, since I've been part of the board, I've had a chance to implement different things that I care about more within the club and like do more stuff, like not within the club specifically, but around the club, and like push more activities that I care about and that I would have liked to seen last year.
When we were organizing our joint movement with the Black Student Union to send students to a local school, and we were able to meet with the leadership of that school and talk about the impact that we hope to make and how we were going to best approach the situation, the 9 other students and me came together and created this program, and we coordinated the transportation and the logistics and all of that seems like a difficult undertaking in 30 minutes, which I had never seen done before at the Academy, because, it's logistics, it takes time to figure out, but those 10 people and Dr. Lufawate, with his help, were able to create a program that now I'm hearing, as of a couple of weeks ago, are seeing significant results. We're seeing students that are getting great results and they're getting grade increases and they're performing better as a result of our effort and our push to do this.
I could say one time where one of my clubs have felt like a family is during Black Student Union has been planning a club, not a club fair, but a all hall event, which is where we essentially have a bunch of different opportunities for students to come and sit and learn things about Black culture, and by virtue of this they get credit for our extended curriculum. And planning that, and like, because most Black Student Union meetings aren't very serious, or like we spend time where we're serious, but a large majority of it is just us talking about different things that we care about. So to have a meeting where we're all just coming together and trying to talk about different things that we would think is important to share with the rest of the school, or like different facets of Black culture that we feel like is important that the rest of the school knows, it was really fun to see, and it was really like exciting to see us come together in that way.
For me, it would definitely have to be the National Honor Society's collaboration with the organization of the Walked In Alzheimer's. I'm the vice president of that organization of the National Honor Society, and so getting to coordinate with all of the different members of our club and planning and raising funds and then going and actually participating in the walk itself. Our whole club was there. We had like 50 people come to that event on behalf of the Indiana Academy, and just seeing us all come together for such an important cause was really healing to my heart, and it made me happy to see that everyone was willing to put in the time and put in the effort to make that a success for the people that need it the most.
I'd say being on the board for Bring Change to Mind and being on the board for Black Student Union has helped me find my voice, in a sense that it's helped me learn how to advocate for others a lot easier, but also it's helped me have a chance to learn how to push my voice and like push things that I need to get done, or like that I need others to do for me, a lot easier. Like, for example, earlier in the school year for Bring Change to Mind, we added a lot of people to the board, but we didn't really know what that meant. So being able to talk to these people and like understand what they need, but also what I need for them, made it a lot easier for me to have those skills. So anytime in the future where I need somebody to do something for me, or if I need somebody to get something done so that I can do my job, it has made it a lot easier to build those skills and just learn how to do that.
I am one that likes to make sure that other people feel involved, and so pushing to like allow other kids to have a voice, it makes me feel more confident in mine. I guess if I can be the person in the room that turns to the kid that hasn't spoken make sure that their opinions get heard, and to make sure that the thoughts and opinions of people that are maybe too scared to speak up, they feel like their opinions are just as valid as those that have the loudest voices in the room. And like being in charge of National Honor Society with my president it's been really fun, because I've got to help a lot of kids with their personal projects, and I've got to see the impact that they have on the community, and the way that they as members of our organization want to impact those around them, and being able to help them in ways that is the most beneficial to them, I feel like has helped me to find my voice.
Being the inaugural president of IASG has meant a lot of new things for me, because I had never really been involved in student politics before. I was homeschooled for most of my academic career before coming to the academy. And finding my voice meant a lot of things. I'm a non-residential student, which means that I have a unique view on a lot of things that happen at the academy, but consequentially, the majority of the academy is residential. It's a residential school. So a lot of the issues that students are most pressing about and need to be addressed are residential issues that I would have no idea about. And finding my voice has meant a combination of expressing my unique viewpoint as being a non-residential student, and also deferring to the experience of residential students and learning how I can best support them as they pursue whatever changes they need to make. I think it's allowed me to branch out a lot from what I originally thought would be my academy experience. I've gone on to take classes at Ball State and Ivy Tech, but I never really envisioned myself stepping back and making as big of an impact as I've been able to have on the academy through ISG and NHS. And leaving the lasting mark and support networks that I'm able to, and I'm building right now, is probably the biggest thing I can take from this experience, really. And the people that helped me through that process in my communities are an important part of that process.
Well, it's helped me build a community in the sense that it's helped me talk to people that I never would have talked to otherwise. For example, a lot of the people in Model U and NHS, I would have never spoken to them in any way, shape, or form if it wasn't for those clubs. Or like, for the people in the Black Student Union, I would have always thought to talk to them, but never had a reason to. So being in these clubs has not only given me a reason to talk to people that I would have never spoken to, but also given me a connection to people that I would have never been connected to in any other way.
For me, being a part of like the Black Student Union and the Gay Straight Alliance has taught me a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about the kind of person that I want to be, and I've learned a lot about the way that society like views me as a person, and the way that I want to, the impact that I want to make. I've learned a lot about how to be the best version of myself, and being on the board of so many clubs here at the academy has taught me a lot about I guess time management, and also like just how to be available for the people that need me, and to be somebody that the people around me can count on. And being on the board of clubs has allowed me to really branch out and make myself available to those around me, and to get to know more people, and to outsource myself to my community. One way in which I think I've been able to really see the impact of welcoming new members is at the semester. Sometimes we get a couple of new kids, and this semester we got 2 new kids that were really excited to join the Black Student Union, and being able to invite them to our text chain and have them come to our meetings on Saturdays, even though they're non-residential, has been really nice to just kind of incorporate them into the community, because they were new kids and they didn't know anybody when they first got here. And so giving them that community from the jump I've seen the impact that it's made, and I think that it's really important to give them people just to know, so that they're not just walking around like random new kids, that we gave them a place, I feel like, and just being able to witness them grow as they get acclimated with the academy has been really fun to watch.
I think for my clubs, and one of the biggest ones has been Model UN. While I'm not on the board for Model UN, but I'm like around a lot of the board, and I spend a lot of the time doing things for Model UN. So seeing people try to understand what it is always funny, but also seeing them come to a meeting or seeing them write their first position paper is always really fun and interesting, especially for people this year because they know that I've done it for like longer than they have, so they always look to me for advice when it's like I have no clue. But it's really just fun to see them learn and grow and build these skills that we've all been building for a year or 2 years or 3 years.
Part of student government's current project is coming up with an election process because we've been handed the task of being the inaugural year, and that means we have to come up with a systematic process to continue the program and to continue making an impact for as long as the school exists. And part of our decision-making process is deciding meeting times and how we will allow new students to enter and what the campaign process will look like. And one of our main considerations is how can we make sure that meetings and campaigns are available to all students, residential and non-residential. We want to make sure that non-residential students can come to all meetings that the student government has, but also has the same campaign weight in terms of student vote that residential students might have.
Well, one of the big things with that question is just that while you may think I would like to start a club, you may find soon after you get here that you've started 4 clubs or 5 clubs. So our clubs work together a lot because the students who are running them are involved in multiple different things. So that creates a lot of cool collaboration opportunities. Every year we have 2 club fairs, one at the beginning of the fall, one at the beginning of the spring, where all our clubs get together in a big space, set up booths, hand out candy, play music, and just show the kind of things they're interested in to the rest of the student body to try and get students to sign up and join their clubs. So that's a big collaboration point right there. The other thing that happens is our clubs will work together on events. We had a big street food festival last year with some of our different clubs representing a number of different cultures pulling together to do that. We had an international festival in the spring with some of our student unions and some of our clubs founded by international students hosting a lot of different holiday themed activities for everyone to participate in. So yeah, whether it's events or some of the bigger forums we put together, or even just people being involved in multiple different clubs, there's a lot of connections to be had there. Yeah, that process starts at the beginning of the year with our SLCs just trying to get to know the students and the families. Usually right from the initial parent meeting, our SLCs are trying to get some feedback from the parents on getting to know the students, understanding them a little better. What are they going to miss? Who are they going to miss? What are the things there? And so SLCs at least try and build an awareness of all that. But I think the biggest thing is just trying to help people get connected while they're here. We have check-ins every day where students have to come check in with the SLCs and can chat briefly there. Once a week, each SLC will do room checks with their student, which involves stopping by the different rooms. Yeah, the main purpose of it is to make sure the room's clean and doesn't smell, but it's also a chance to just come into the student's space, chat with them a little bit, get to know them, keep them up to date on what's going on. Another big part of it is when things aren't going right, when a friend group is struggling to figure out a dispute, when roommates aren't connecting or trying to figure out how to live together. The SLCs are there to come alongside. We do a lot of training and preparation with them for how to help students coexist, get along, and have a good experience all sharing a residence all together. So one of my favorite events that we have every year is called a Catathon. We started it back in 2021. A number of us on staff had come from colleges or universities that had a similar event. We divide the student body up into 4 teams that then compete over the course of a long weekend on a whole bunch of different things. And it's anything and everything you can imagine, from a poetry competition to chalk art in the back parking lot, to human-sized battleship, to this year 60 kids in the lounge cheering each other on in a Super Smash Brothers video game tournament. It's just a lot of fun, and it breaks the students up into different groups than they're used to. They've got to get connected with other floors and with non-residential students and with residential students and with international students. We kind of mix the teams all up so people cheer together, get excited together, get disappointed together, and then rally for the next thing. And it's just my favorite thing. Healthy competition, friendly competition, decorations all over the building, people chanting and cheering for each other as they compete for a bunch of different things. Yeah, our wellness model focuses on three things. It focuses on communication, on leadership, and on life skills. We want students to be prepared for what comes next. But within those three categories, and then with all the other programming we do beyond that, there's a lot of room for personality and expression. And so every year we have 12 SLCs who come from a variety of different backgrounds, who bring their own personal touch and experiences and lessons they've learned in life to that. SLCs also work to just create spaces where students can feel safe to discuss ideas, to talk, to learn from each other, and to grow from shared experiences and from the chance to get to know all the cool individuals they find themselves with here at the Academy. Yeah, in fact, every year I do tell students this multiple times is, hey, the front desk's right over there and you can grab a form and start the club yourself. And that's a really exciting thing about the Academy is the bar to getting involved, to participating, to starting something is low. We encourage it. We want it. We've got staff all over who are willing to be that sponsor to help your club find times to meet, to help you make arrangements. So start a club if you have an interest, whether it's chess, whether it's a sport you haven't been able to play at your old high school, or whether it's a particular career path that you're interested in, want to learn more about. Start a club, recruit some other people, start having meetings, and you have the chance to do that here. SLCs, often will notice a student who seems like they're struggling to connect, or hear from a parent that they'd love to see their student get connected, or that they're not hearing about much stuff they're doing while they're here. So one of the things we can do is just try to help in those moments. Usually the first step is working with the peer assistants, so those fellow students on the floor who have a natural connection, to come alongside that student, invite them to a meal, invite them to a program, invite them to an activity, just get them started with something. Obviously, the goal is to help students get connected with each other and form those bonds themselves. But whether it's sitting in an SLC's apartment, going to dinner with a PA and their friends, or just walking down to the lounge to join in a game of ping pong, there's a lot of different ways around here that it's pretty easy to take that first step. For me, the biggest thing that's different about the Indiana Academy comes from the students we have here. Every student who comes here is looking for something more. If they weren't, they'd stay where they are. So whether it's more academic opportunity, or a different kind of social group to connect with, or activities and resources on a college campus that we have here, it's the people and the unique student population every year that makes this place what it is. I think the other thing that's unique about the Academy is there's not a high school anywhere that's going to better prepare you to walk onto a college campus and be ready to succeed. And I'm not talking academically, though the school will prepare you for anything that way as well. But just the kind of schedule you will live in here, the resources available on campus, the experience of living on a college campus, getting around, and the type of student life activities we provide will have you walking onto a college campus ready to take the lead from day one.
Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to get to know what makes student life at the Indiana Academy so exceptional. Whether you're excited about advanced academics, or inspired by a community of like-minded peers, or excited about an environment that allows your passions to thrive, I hope that you've seen that the Indiana Academy is more than just a school. It's a launching pad. And we want to keep those conversations going. So please visit our website, give me a call, sign up to attend an on-campus or virtual program. I'm looking forward to getting to know you more, and I hope that you'll be able to join us here at the Indiana Academy very soon.